So Diddy's lawyers trying for a third time to get him out on bail, but this time, the prosecution telling the judge about attempts they say the rap mogul made from behind bars to influence everyone from potential jury to alleged victims.
It looks like Sean Diddy Combs is unraveling once again, this time from behind bars. The cause? A jaw-dropping ruling from the presiding judge that's turned his jailhouse ordeal into a legal nightmare. A surprise cell search, evidence no one saw coming, and a courtroom that nearly came unglued. Buckle up. This story doesn't just unfold. It began with a motion filed by prosecutors requesting to admit the results of what they called a high-priority, security-driven search of Diddy's jail cell. Diddy's legal team immediately pushed back, branding the search as unconstitutional, excessive, and politically charged. According to them, this was an outrageous violation of their client's rights as a pretrial detainee. But Judge Melanie Carter saw it very differently. In a sharply worded ruling, she declared the search not only legal but essential, grounded in what she described as credible and corroborated intelligence. And here's the twist. That intelligence didn't just come from correctional staff. It allegedly came from multiple sources, informants linked to the broader investigation, who warned authorities that Diddy was covertly engaging in activities that could compromise the case. We're talking about witness tampering, hiding digital files, and attempting to coordinate with outside contacts, all while in federal custody. Let that sink in. Under federal watch, Diddy was allegedly trying to manipulate the legal process. The judge emphasized that the operation wasn't random or retaliatory. It was a calculated move prompted by reasonable suspicion that the cell contained tools intended to obstruct justice. And that changes everything. If what was discovered supports these claims, and now that it's admissible in court, it opens the door to entirely new charges. We're talking obstruction of justice, evidence tampering, and criminal conspiracy. Each of those charges carries weight, and none are connected to his original case. They're new, independent battles with serious consequences. What made this ruling even more devastating was the tone Judge Carter took in her language. According to courtroom sources, she dismissed Diddy's defense as shallow and more concerned with public perception than legal substance. She accused them of leaning on spin rather than fact, and it landed hard. Not often does a federal judge critique your PR strategy in an official ruling. Court documents also confirmed that the search was fully authorized under federal law and had been weeks in the making. The Department of Justice had reportedly been observing Diddy's behavior, flagging communications, and watching for anomalies in inmate activity. This wasn't a surprise sweep, it was a calculated strike. So, while Diddy's legal team may claim it was a setup, the evidence says otherwise. If anything, it was the system setting up to catch him, not frame him. And what's at stake now isn't minor. This isn't about a few personal items being confiscated. The materials seized are now part of the official case file, and prosecutors are reportedly preparing to bring them into court. Speculation is running wild about what was found. Among the seized items, a burner phone allegedly hidden inside a toiletry container, several cryptic notes, believed to contain names, case references, and coded financial instructions, and a USB drive, the contents of which are still under federal review. That's not just inconvenient, that's potentially incriminating. With the judge's ruling making all of this fair game in court, the prosecution may be preparing to launch a whole new offensive. Diddy's legal troubles are no longer contained to past allegations. They may now include crimes committed from within the very system meant to contain him. Legal experts are already buzzing that this case might be shifting gears from a messy celebrity scandal to a full-blown criminal conspiracy saga. Some insiders are even whispering about RICO-level trouble for Diddy if investigators can link the cell evidence to outside players. Yep. The judge dropped a serious bombshell, and the shockwaves are ripping through both the entertainment world and legal circles. The real question now isn't just what did they find, but who's connected, and how deep does this rabbit hole go? For a guy once crowned king of the industry, this ruling might just be the moment his crown cracked. And honestly, it looks like he lost it big time. Let's talk about the absolute chaos that went down once that ruling hit. When Diddy got wind of the judge's decision, it wasn't just frustration. It was a full-on meltdown. Sources inside the detention center are spilling all the tea, saying the man who used to glide down red carpets decked out in mink coats and million-dollar chains completely fell apart. The calm, collected mogul? Gone. What the staff reportedly saw was a guy unhinged, spiraling fast, and snapping at anyone within earshot. Word is, Diddy was pacing his cell like a man possessed, shouting for his legal team, slamming his fists against the walls, muttering to himself, visibly shaking with rage. The guards had to step in, not because he was violent, but because his behavior spiked to the point they feared for his mental health. This wasn't some simple tantrum. This was a full breakdown, someone realizing the walls were closing in tight. What pushed him over the edge wasn't just the court ruling legalizing the search. It was the gut punch that his one private space, the last bit of control he had, was totally invaded. Diddy built his empire on secrecy, power, and control for decades. Now his cell, his personal belongings, even his notes were fair game for scrutiny. That's not just a legal hit, it's a personal humiliation. Inside sources say, after his initial blow-up, Diddy refused meals, shut down communication with prison counselors, and even skipped his limited phone privileges that day. One insider described him as dazed, almost in shock, like the harsh reality of prison life finally slammed into him like a freight train. And honestly, no wonder. This was a man used to calling the shots, telling people what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Now, no control, no leverage, no privacy. And the optics of all this are brutal. Diddy isn't just any celeb. He's a mogul, the boss behind the curtain, the puppet master pulling strings. But right now, stripped of all that power, and with a federal judge giving the green light to use potentially damning evidence against him, he's just another inmate losing his grip. In the aftermath, Diddy's legal team scrambled to file emergency motions and briefs, desperately trying to suppress or delay the evidence. But the damage? Already done. That court ruling didn't just expose him legally. It exposed him emotionally, mentally, and publicly. It made clear to the world, and the court, that this man is no longer running the show. This meltdown marks a major turning point in the case. Up to now, Diddy kept up appearances, acting like he had everything under control, like this was just noise he'd eventually silence. But this ruling shattered that illusion. The reaction wasn't strategy, it was pure panic. The breakdown, the rage, the mental spiral. It all screams that Diddy knows something huge is coming. And if what was found in that jail cell really ties back to bigger crimes, bigger players, and massive cover-ups, then this case, it's about to blow wide open in ways we haven't even imagined yet. This wasn't just a bad day. It was a man watching his empire crumble brick by brick right in front of his eyes. So what's next for the case?
If he was a part of that, how did he get the key to the city? That's crazy to me. If he was in incidents and everything around the city that wasn't favorable, how he get key to the city? So now, now you gotta realize, if they had the mayor under investigation since 2014, Diddy was an investigation around 2011, 9 or 11, something like that. They say either 9 or 11. One of those people are responsible for the feds looking out after one, or either Diddy responsible, his interaction with the mayor, or the mayor interaction with Diddy may have caused the feds to be looking at both of them in some form or fashion. I don't know which one was first. Was it Diddy interaction with the mayor, or the mayor interaction with Diddy? Which one did the Fed have under surveillance first? And I think it was probably Diddy.
The fallout begins. Diddy's legal nightmare just leveled up. Now that we've witnessed Diddy go from untouchable mogul to unraveling inmate, let's break down what this courtroom shocker actually means for the future of his case. Because make no mistake, this isn't just a twist. This is a total game changer. The chessboard has been flipped, and the prosecution just got handed a golden opportunity on a silver platter. For months, investigators have been quietly stacking their deck. Testimonies, financial records, historic allegations, you name it. But now, they've got fresh, physical evidence allegedly tied to Diddy himself, found right inside his jail cell. That's not hearsay. That's not some distant accusation. That's personal. That's tangible. And the judges ruled it's admissible in court, which means legally, the gloves are off. Obstruction of justice on the table. This ruling doesn't just validate the cell search. It cracks open a brand new lane in the investigation. It's no longer just about what may or may not have happened at a wild Hollywood party 5 years ago. Now, it's about present-day behavior, real-time interference, possible obstruction of justice. And that's no minor charge. It's a heavy-hitting legal weapon. If prosecutors can prove Diddy tried to hide, destroy, or manipulate evidence, or worse, coordinated with people outside to silence witnesses, it paints him not only as a defendant with a murky past, but as someone actively trying to play the system. That doesn't sit well with the courts. It turns Diddy from a man under fire into a man playing with matches in a gasoline-soaked courtroom. Not just Diddy anymore. And don't think for a second this ends with him. The ruling gives investigators access to every name, message, and document uncovered in that cell. If those files mention other artists, managers, assistants, or even legal counsel, they're fair game now. What started as one high-profile scandal could become a legal wildfire, with Diddy as ground zero. This could lead to a domino effect, pulling multiple figures into the fray. One name leads to another. One text opens a new door. Suddenly, it's not just Diddy's empire shaking. It's the whole industry on edge. Cancel culture defense? Crushed. Up until now, Diddy has been leaning hard on the narrative that he's the victim, that this is all a hit job. A rich, powerful black man being targeted by cancel culture. But this ruling slices that argument to pieces. This isn't about silencing him. It's about holding him accountable. It reframes the entire story, from victimhood to consequence. And let's be real, this changes the prosecution's strategy too. If there was ever a chance they'd consider cutting a deal, they may be gone. With potential tampering or obstruction in play, the feds are less likely to negotiate and more likely to press for maximum sentencing. They're building a case, and they want it airtight and unforgettable. The defense hits panic mode. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team, they're scrambling. Expect a frenzy of appeals, rights violation claims, entrapment accusations, you name it. Their job now is to discredit every piece of evidence or argue it was planted. But here's the kicker. The court already ruled the search was legal. That evidence is coming in, and it's coming in hot. This means the stakes have officially doubled. Diddy's no longer just fighting allegations from his past. He's now being investigated for what he's doing right now, while locked up under surveillance. And when it comes to obstruction, the government does not play. Even a hint of a cover-up can mean new charges stacked high and fast. From scandal to serious, the RICO whisper. And just when you think it can't get any worse, here's the real kicker. Word on the street and inside courtroom whispers is that this might be more than just about Diddy. Investigators could be setting the stage for something even bigger, a RICO case. Yes, that's right. The same laws used to dismantle criminal organizations and syndicates could be coming into play here. If prosecutors can prove a pattern, coordinated actions, shared intent, organized suppression, they might not just be targeting Diddy. They could be going after the whole alleged operation. So buckle up. What we're watching isn't just a fall from grace. It's the possible unraveling of an empire, one damning discovery at a time. Diddy's name turns toxic, and a RICO nightmare might be brewing. This is no longer about a few scattered allegations. Diddy's situation is starting to resemble something much bigger and much more dangerous. We're talking RICO-level serious. For those unfamiliar, the RICO Act, short for racketeer-influenced and corrupt organizations, was designed to take down mob bosses, gang leaders, and anyone believed to be at the center of an organized web of criminal activity. And right now, the dots are starting to connect in a way that has federal investigators paying very close attention. So, why is RICO suddenly the word on everyone's lips? Let's break it down. We're looking at a mounting pile of civil lawsuits, shocking accusations spanning decades, rumors of hush money, witness intimidation, and now, a jail cell search that reportedly turned up burner phones, encrypted messages, and hints of communication with outside players. This doesn't scream one man acting alone. It's beginning to look like the operation of someone surrounded by a machine, one built to shield secrets, silence threats, and maintain power at any cost. And trust, the feds don't move on whispers. They take their time. They build methodically. They want charges that stick. If they can establish that Diddy wasn't just protecting himself, but was leveraging his businesses, employees, or associates to carry out, cover up, or benefit from illegal behavior, game over. That's exactly when the term criminal enterprise starts getting thrown around. What makes the RICO theory even more plausible is the sheer scale. This isn't just one incident. We're talking dozens of claims spread across states and years, involving entertainment insiders, security teams, and money trails that, frankly, don't make sense. When every road leads back to the same central figure, prosecutors begin crafting a story that's much bigger than personal misconduct. It's about organized criminal behavior. And don't think Diddy's former allies aren't panicking. The moment a RICO case is on the table, people start flipping. Fast. No one wants to get caught in the crossfire or take a federal fall for someone else's empire. The question now is, who's going to talk? Who's ready to turn state's witness to save themselves? And how far are the prosecutors willing to go to bring down the house? Because this is no longer about what Diddy allegedly did. It's about who helped him, who looked the other way, and who profited while doing it. Who's distancing themselves from Diddy? With courtroom tensions rising and the RICO buzz getting louder, Hollywood is going full throttle into damage control. Diddy's name, once associated with luxury, power, and hit records, is quickly turning radioactive. The very people who once toasted champagne in his mansions and called him family, they're ghosting him faster than you can say bad boy for life. First up, music execs. Word is major record labels are scrubbing Diddy from their campaigns, putting collaborations on ice, and quietly shelving anything linked to his name. Internally, teams are reportedly being told to halt all Diddy-related projects until there's legal clarity. Translation: they want zero association if this turns into a federal blowout. Even former bad boy artists are pulling back. The same rappers and producers who once publicly thanked Diddy for their careers. Not a peep. No tweets. No statements. Nothing. Some are even allegedly screening his calls and avoiding any contact, public or private. Right now, association equals contamination, and no one wants the fallout. Then there's the brand world. Diddy used to be a marketing powerhouse. Ciroc, Sean John, Revolt, you name it. But let's be real, no one's clinking glasses and saying, let's toast with Diddy anymore. Behind the scenes, deals are being reconsidered. Partnerships are being paused. And endorsements? Dead silent. In short, the empire that once stood untouchable is starting to show cracks. And if a RICO case truly is forming, those cracks might just explode into a collapse that shakes the entire entertainment industry to its core. Diddy's empire in freefall, silence, suspicion, and the storm to come. Corporate sponsors aren't just stepping back, they're rewriting the rules. Behind the scenes, brands linked to Diddy are quietly reviewing every contract, digging through morality clauses with a fine-tooth comb. Translation: if a deal wasn't already dead, it's on life support now. Diddy has officially become a liability, and no brand with a reputation to protect wants to gamble on a collapsing icon. Revolt, the company that can't escape his shadow. Then there's Revolt, Diddy's brainchild, his media empire. On the surface, they're scrambling to separate themselves, issuing vague statements about leadership shifts and claiming independent operations. But let's be real, Revolt is soaked in Diddy's identity. His influence is everywhere. And if any part of the company's resources were ever used to support or conceal alleged misconduct, investors will run, not walk, run. Out in Hollywood, Diddy used to move like royalty. Private jets, after-party appearances, gala panels, red carpet moments. It was all part of his brand. Not anymore. Invitations are drying up. His name has become a PR landmine, and crisis teams are on high alert. Publicists are reportedly warning clients, do not be seen with him. The game has changed, and no one wants a guilty by association headline. Even influencers, the social media crowd who usually can't resist a trending moment, are staying away. Diddy's name doesn't mean clout anymore. It means controversy, legal baggage, and potential career-ending backlash. The online love has vanished. No tributes, no throwbacks, just silence. But the most chilling shift? The silence from those closest to him. His day ones. The dancers, the producers, the hype men, the best friends who are always front and center. Gone. Vanished. No Instagram love. No public defenses. Nothing. Because in the entertainment world, loyalty is currency. And right now, nobody's willing to spend it on a man under federal investigation. This isn't just bad press. It's a full-scale social freeze-out. Diddy, the mogul who once had the industry at his feet, is now on the outside looking in. And the cruel irony? This could be the beginning, not the end. The Game of Thrones begins. Who's going down next? Here's where things get darker. Because while Diddy's collapse is headline material, the real story might be about who falls with him. And baby, the whispers behind the scenes are growing louder. This is no longer about one man. It's about the web, the enablers, the insiders, the ones who knew, helped, covered, or stayed quiet. The first layer under fire? His staff. The bodyguards, house managers, assistants, the people allegedly in the rooms when the worst went down. The ones who booked the travel, wiped the cameras, locked the doors. These aren't just employees. They're potential witnesses. And when jail time is on the table, silence becomes expensive. Word on the street is at least 1 or 2 ex-staffers have already spoken to prosecutors. If that's true, the dominoes are lined up, and it only takes one to fall. Next target? The music execs. Because if this turns out to be more than Diddy acting solo, if it exposes a systemic cover-up culture in the industry, then the suits who signed the checks, turned blind eyes, and protected the cash flow are in deep. Real deep. Who knew what and when? That's the million-dollar question. If executives ignored reports, silenced accusers, or buried evidence to keep the brand shiny and profitable, this could become the biggest music scandal in decades. And guess what? We're just getting started. The circle tightens. Who's next in the crosshairs? As Diddy's empire continues to crumble, the fallout is spreading far beyond just him. What started as a storm around one man is now turning into a full-on industry quake. And some of the biggest names in music and entertainment are reportedly getting nervous. Because here's the truth. Diddy didn't party alone. He didn't fly solo on those private jets or throw wild. No phone-allowed parties in secluded mansions. And now that the spotlight is burning hot, it's starting to illuminate the people who once stood beside him in the shadows. Celebrities under the radar. Insiders are saying that several high-profile artists who were once close to Diddy are being quietly looked at by investigators. These are people who shared stages with him, posted smiling photos together, and were frequent guests at those infamous parties that are now being scrutinized. No official charges have been made, but fans and internet sleuths aren't waiting for the courts. They're already digging through old footage, revisiting interviews, and cross-referencing event dates. A few artists have even started scrubbing their socials of anything Diddy-related, which only adds to the suspicion. And it's not just celebrities who are feeling the heat. There's a quiet panic spreading through legal offices once tied to Diddy. Former attorneys, legal advisors, and crisis management teams who once worked to keep his name out of headlines are now reportedly under review themselves. The questions are serious. Were there efforts to suppress evidence? Were witnesses pressured? If any of that is proven, some of the suits in the boardrooms may soon be sitting across from prosecutors instead of clients. The untouchables might not be so untouchable anymore. One particularly wild rumor making its way through Hollywood: a major entertainment figure, someone with massive clout, is currently under federal surveillance. No arrest, no charge, just being watched. If that's true, it confirms what many have suspected. This isn't just about Diddy. It's about a whole ecosystem that may have enabled, protected, or ignored serious wrongdoing. And if the feds are patient, they could be playing the long game, watching quietly, collecting evidence, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Meanwhile, the loyalty circle that once surrounded Diddy is collapsing fast. Once tight allies are now ghosting him. Former friends are leaking emails, sharing voice memos, and forwarding private texts. Whispers of betrayal are everywhere. Some are making backdoor deals, offering up information in exchange for immunity. Others are hiring expensive attorneys, preparing for the worst. Because in a case like this, when federal agents start knocking and subpoenas start dropping, it becomes every person for themselves. And let's be real, this is Hollywood. Loyalty has a price tag. And when federal charges start flying, nobody wants to go down for someone else's sins. Survival becomes the only game in town. This isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning. The entertainment industry has seen its fair share of controversies, but this feels different. This feels bigger, like a cleanse, a systemic unraveling. And the panic is palpable. PR teams are working overtime. Celebrities are canceling appearances. Some are staying completely off the radar. Because no one wants to be the next headline. No one wants to be the one trending for all the wrong reasons. And the public? Oh, they're watching. Closely. Every silence. Every unfollow. Every vague statement. It all adds fuel to the fire. So where do we go from here? Diddy's downfall is no longer just his own. It's become a mirror held up to the industry. A warning shot that no amount of fame, money, or connections can shield you forever. The question now is not if someone else will fall. It's who and when. Will this lead to real accountability or just more smoke and mirrors? Is this the justice system finally doing its job? Or is Diddy being made the sacrificial lamb for a much deeper problem? We'll be watching. We'll be reporting. And you better believe we'll be spilling every drop of this celebrity tea. So what do you think? Are we seeing the first wave of real change in the industry, or just another Hollywood cover-up waiting to happen? Sound off in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. Because the tea is hot, the drama is real, and this story is far from over.